go. All right. We gotta tie some flies. I don't know what we're tying today. Haven't really thought of it. Last time we did some real heavy patterns. Could do some more of those. Do some trout flies. Kind of thinking we look for some jig hooks. That's a nice one we tied. Put him in the box. Look at this big, I was going for a cicada, big old marshmallow, but it didn't turn out so well. That one's interesting. Wonder if I'll ever fish him. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. A worm. That's what we, kind of heavier worm pattern. That's what I had in mind. Heavy worm pattern. I'm torn. I don't know whether to go trout fishing next week or bass fishing. But if I go bass fishing, I want a worm. The guy I was fishing with this week, he was fishing a Nico rig, and he was killing it. I was a little bit jealous. He was fishing the Nico rig, catching them left and right. But this is something that I haven't really perfected, which is the deep water, kind of bottom dragging bass fishing. You could also do a float and fly concept. I think that would work well but the problem with that is there's so many bluegill. The pattern you float would have to be pretty big. Anything on a regular size jig hook's just gonna get attacked by all the bluegill, which is pretty annoying. I'm gonna draw this forward, stacking our weights, come back around, lock these in. Lock them in. So the worm, I think the worm, we start tying the worm here. If we start tying it in here, it has the potential to foul. Yeah, we'll have it kind of coming out the end there. The material though, I don't know what the worm material should be. I think something soft. Maybe chopping up some synthetic hair. Then perhaps blending that with something. Maybe we try to do like a black and blue concept. So this will take some of this black synthetic hair, take some of that out, and then oh yeah, that's a good color right there. Dark purple, purpley blue. Take some of that out. I'm gonna just cut it into sections. Cut it again. Tempted to cut it again, but I'm not gonna. Then we'll blend this up. And then I want to soften it, so I'm going to separate it into smaller clumps, and I'm going to roll it between my fingers, really crinkling it up. Because we're going to make a material loop from this. And we don't want the material to be straight. The more body it has, the more crinkled up it is, the better the result will be. We can use less material and still achieve kind of a full look. Okay. Let's do another section. Smaller clumps is better, more manageable. I wonder if just like rolling it like this is okay. Yeah, that works well. The old palm to palm method. That works real well. Yeah, that's kind of the consistency that we want right there. Let's finish up. And then let's get it all together. Mix it up again. Perfect. Even like chopping it and then mixing it would be pretty good too. But we'll call that good. We're gonna blend some other kind of material in there. Definitely a flash material, but I'm also thinking like a craft fur. The craft fur is much softer. I don't use this magenta craft fur for much of anything, so we'll blend a little bit of that. The goal is to make a worm type. I, for a long time, was not into like mimicking existing bass lures for fishing or for bass fly fishing. I felt like it was kind of counterproductive. The advantage of the fly is you can get a more lifelike imitation. But what I learned fishing the other day was when there's a time of the year when the bass have more than enough to eat, and they're just not going to eat a naturally presented anything. And so you have to just throw something in front of them, and they hit it out of aggression or curiosity or who knows what, but that's the only way to catch them. Like legit, the only way to catch a bass sometimes is finesse fishing. So, and that time of the year is right now. So if you want to catch a bass in the kind of the dog day, of course there are exceptions, early mornings and things like that. But right now it's pretty tricky. And then as the summer wears on, the fishing will get better. And then as the weather cools, the fishing will get better. But there definitely is a time when finesse is the only way to catch a bass. I have learned. Let's put some flash in there. Maybe this light blue, I think, would be good. No, let's not use that. Maybe this darker. Let's see if we have a red. Oh yeah, here we go. We'll do a little bit of red into our worm color. I think they call this like tequila color or something, tequila sunrise. I like it. And then we'll blend a little bit of green. Gotta get the green out. I clipped holes on the corner of the dubbing packet so you can kind of pull some out, and it's easy to keep the rest in there. A little tip for you. Fly fishing will never be as effective as conventional fishing for largemouth bass. Trout, definitely. I think fly fishing could be more effective in certain situations. But for bass fishing, no way. I think in California, a guy competed in a bass tournament, and I think he won fly fishing. But that man got very lucky. His name is Ryan Williams. We use this heavier mono for our loop. Whoa, no way. And what I'm doing, I'm gonna just create a loop and then I'm gonna furl it. This is a furled worm pattern. Nothing special about this. Go around the loop a couple times, lock it in. Alright. A little bit of wax. It's going to be doubled up on itself, so that, like, that's going to be the length of it. We'll try to maximize the length of it, but it's not going to be your ginormo worm. Then we'll fit the dubbing in our loop. Let me check real fast. Okay, that looks good. It's going to be furled at this point, and so that is going to actually kind of build up a little bit. So it'd be nice if you avoided, unless you want like a buildup of material at the end. Just be aware of what's happening. Let's get our tool. Spin this up, going clockwise. I like the color. I like a Mardi Gras theme. The material will extend past the end of the loop, so we'll get a little bit of length there, but not much. You can do bait fish patterns like this too. It doesn't have to be a worm. So spinning and then it's furling on itself. I'm going to take the halfway point, which is about there, and then I'm going to let it furl on, spin up on itself. So now we have kind of one unit. I'm going to want to kind of secure it. We can adjust it later. Then we'll unhook our tool. And then we can kind of place it where we want it. I should have picked it out a little bit before I do this. But I'm thinking like right there would be good. Like right there. And crank it down. I'm thinking about adding some like rubber kind of coming off the sides. But start picking. I should have picked earlier. Don't pick too deep or you'll start getting into that monofilament. The more you pick, the better the result. the end isn't too bulky, which is nice. It's a little bit thin right here. I don't know how that happened. All right, I'm gonna pull out some excess. Try to at least, but majority of it can stay in. Yeah, that's nice. There's a wormy. Wormy. Let's think about how much rubber we want to add. That's good size. Like a 4-incher or 5-incher. That's not a bad size. I'm afraid it's gonna foul. That's what I'm really afraid of. But even if it does foul, you know, maybe it'd still fish. Some rubber. Do 4 pieces of rubber on each side. That would be good. Trim that out. Lots of rubber on this side. Okay. We could cover the pile of beads, or we could leave the pile of beads exposed. I'm gonna try to cover it. You could do another loop, but I think that's a bit of a waste of time. So I'm gonna do a clump up here. Clump down here. Tight. I'm gonna preen it forward, advance the thread, and then kind of repeat a clump and a clump. But I ran out of, maybe I'll just try to veil it in there. A little bit short of material. Yeah, cranking down on it. And we'll whip it. Oh yeah. What should we name this fly? Furled worm. That's what we should name it. We're losing our coverage up front, but we can kind of cheat and put a drop of super glue on the sides, and it'll kind of stick to the bead there. And we want that reinforcement anyway. So that's no problem. Then we can separate our legs. I might have to fish bass next week just so I can try this baby out. Separate the legs. Or just wait till the weather gets a little cooler. I'm gonna put a drop of glue on this side as well, just so it kind of preens everything back. A little bit more durable. Trim this out a bit. I think we done. There is our wormy worm. WTF for using that 3-ball thing on the head. I need weight, bud. You could use a jig, but those are 3 4-millimeter tungsten beads. It's there for weight. I'm dragging. So how I was fishing, I was fishing a floating line, about a 9-foot leader, fishing vertical rock structure, casting, a foot away. Fly would sink, it would hit the rock, and then you kind of move it down, it sinks down to the next level, move it down, sinks down to the next level. It was a slope, and the fish are sitting probably 8 feet down. Eventually you get to a point where it's too deep, your fly doesn't reach the bottom, but they hit it on the fall. So if it lands and it's straight, they're not going to hit it. But if you can move it and it falls down to the next level, then they go after it. So the weight is to keep it down, essentially. It's like a jig. If you fished a bass jig, it's the same concept. But fishing a fly rod is so ineffective because you have no feel with the fly line. Hook sets are lucky because you try to set with the rod, the tip is too soft, the line gives, you can't create the tension, so you're stripping. You're kind of stripping and sweeping at the same time. But yesterday I landed one and had three or four hit. So yeah, 20% of the fish I landed, lost the rest of them fishing this method. I fished topwater for probably 8 hours without anything. And then finally I went to like these heavy flies. And so this was the concept that I created. 3 tungsten beads, baby. So give it a try. Or just don't fish for bass in the middle of the summer. That might be better. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go about your business. I might be back a little bit later. We'll see. Adios.